Hey guys, this is Bui Madu of Bui Madu & Co. with the 24-hour blueprint, Secrets to Lifestyle Design and Time Management System. So it's 2015. Happy New Year. And for those of you who were invited and maybe missed the first event this year, I wanted to shoot this quick video and give you an opportunity to get caught up because after this first month of the year, you're going to have to do a lot of catching up. And so instead of having you do that, I'd rather just give you what you need now so that you can stay in tune with the program this year. So this is called Discover the Ultimate Guide to Designing Your Desired Lifestyle, right? Before the ball drops again, right? So we just had the ball drop a few days ago. If you don't want to drop the ball in your life as well as have the ball drop before you get it together this year, this is the program you want to be a part of. So Happy New Year. If I haven't already said it, it's exciting. It's only a few days into this year. It's just a thrilling experience, to be honest with you. So I want to tell you a quick story, right, about a gun versus a watch. So there's an older guy, actually a father, and his son is just about to get married, and he's thinking, what should he give his son? And so he realizes that he's got this heirloom, right, this gun that's been passed on to him. And so he calls his son into his bedroom and says, hey son, they're from the old school, right? And so he says, son, listen, I got a gunner for you. I got a gun for you, right? Now that's my sort of attempt at an Italian accent, not doing an excellent job, but he says, I got a gunner for you. I got a gunner for you. And he's like, oh, you got a what? He says, okay, I go into the closet, and he brings out of the closet this old gun that's been passed on. His father received it from his father, and his father's father received it from his father, and so he's so proud. He's this is a gun. I got it from my father, and I want to give it to you. And so the son is kind of like, okay, like, why are you giving me a gun, right? But of course, he takes it anyway, and goes to his wife to be and says, look, honey, I got a gun from my dad for our wedding as a wedding gift. And the wife is not too happy, not too thrilled, right? So she's like, okay, whatever. So they get married. Fast forward a few months later, the father comes back and says, son, I want to see the gun. I want to see the gun. You got the gun. I want to see it. So the son is a little bit embarrassed, a little bit ashamed at this point, because between when they got married and when his dad comes by to see the gun, what had taken place was his wife had gotten a little anxious about the gun being in the house and asked, for the gun to be tossed out. But instead of tossing it out, he went to a pawn shop and traded in for this really just remarkable watch, right? That's what he did. In exchange for the gun, he got a watch, right? And so he's all proud of himself, right, for converting this, thing that was scaring his wife into a watch. So fast forward, of course, the father's back in the house and saying, son, show me the gun. And so at this point, he has to come clean and say, look, Dad, I'm so sorry. My wife got a little nervous about this gun in the house, and so what I did was I went to the pawn shop and I got a watch for it. Check this watch out. Isn't this watch cool? And his dad is kind of like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. You gotta be kidding me. You come home on one day, you see your wife in the bed with another man. What are you gonna say? Hey buddy, it's a time to go? Okay. If you didn't get that, it's okay. You could just check your pulse, right? And so the point is, this program is about timing, right? This program is about timing, right? And if you already are using sort of some other weapons, okay, to try to manage life, we use time here to manage life, right? And some other tools. So anyway, moving right along. This is about consciousness, okay? If I haven't broken up your already pre-existing state of consciousness, this is about consciousness. And specifically, I want to talk about how you have to be at a certain level of consciousness in order to appreciate and execute on this program, right? I mean, this isn't just let me just act quick, and as one of my assistants has said, this is not a one and done thing. This is a lifestyle design change. So you have to be fully conscious. In order for you to be fully conscious, I highly recommend that you take a look at the map of consciousness. Now you might be thinking, what is the map of consciousness? Well, here's the map of consciousness. And this product is founded on the principle that you have to be at a certain level of consciousness in order to be able to effectively use the program, right? If you're not at a certain level of consciousness, this program won't work for you. It won't serve you, right? Because you may not be ready, you may not be prepared, or you may not be the ideal user. So this map of consciousness that you see to the right here is from a book called Power versus Force by Dr. David Dawkins. And that book changed my life. And if you take the initiative to read it yourself, it would also do the same for you. And if you look, I'm going to move my mouse here. If you look, this map of consciousness takes you from the bottom, right? And the methodology behind it is a little involved, but in simple form, it has to do with what's called muscle reflex technology, where you can measure consciousness in the human body, right, through muscle testing. And what they did was discover that there was a spectrum of human consciousness and levels of it, right? So at the bottom, you see shame, and above that, you see guilt, and then apathy, and then grief, and then fear, and then desire, and then anger, and then pride, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, and above that, joy, above that, peace, and above that, enlightenment, right? That's the name of the game here. And if you're not interested in being conscious or being a conscious user, the program, just doesn't work. Not because I don't want it to work, but that's part of the design of the program. Okay, it's what it's designed for. It's designed to accelerate your practices and enhance your practices if you're someone who's conscious, right, and looking to expand your consciousness. So with that said, that's the map of consciousness. I live by it, I stand by it, and I definitely invite you to do the same in order for this program to be maximizing your life. So moving right along, we're talking right now about the Five Kingdoms view. So Five Kingdoms view is one of the core concepts, core principles inside of the system. So the Five Kingdoms view has to do with a view of life that most people don't have. Okay, so what is the Five Kingdoms view? What is that view of life? So in other words, when you're looking at life, we look at life in five kingdoms. Okay, throughout this program, you're going to see life in five kingdoms. If you don't know anything about five kingdoms, you should, of course, download the workbook, or now, by the time you get this, the playbook. And inside of the playbook, you'll see the five kingdom concepts, right? And those five kingdoms are faith, fellowship, financial or finances, depending on how you want to word it, your feelings, and your fitness. Now, taking it from the top again, when we're talking about faith, we're talking about everything related to your spiritual life. When we're talking about fellowship, we're talking about everything related to your social life. When we're talking about finances or your financial kingdom, we're talking about everything related to your money life. When we're talking about feelings, we're talking about everything related to your energy and motion life. Otherwise, others call it your emotions, right? So anyway, that's about feelings and emotions. And then fitness is everything physical. That includes your home or house, the maintenance of your vehicle, your management of time, your management of your well-being and physical exercise, and including, of course, your nutrition as well, right? Everything involved with the physical realm of life. That's what this is about. So I want to talk about Sisyphus. If you've never heard of Sisyphus or never even seen signage like this, this is sort of an image that captures the struggle of a king named Sisyphus, right? And in Greek mythology, right? And the thing about this particular character, just to give you a little background, is in Greek mythology, Sisyphus was a king of Ephyra, now known as Corinth. He was punished for chronic deceitfulness by being compelled to roll an immense boulder up a hill, only to watch it roll back down and to repeat this action forever. Now, how did he end up in this situation, right? So basically, because of his trickery throughout his life, right, the gods pretty much hated him and condemned him to basically end up in this situation, this eternal situation of rolling up the hill with this rock that only would go back down, right? That was part of the curse, that once he got it up to the top of the hill, instead of being able to rest, the boulder would roll back down to the hill and you have to push it all the way back up again. Now, what does this have to do with you? So what this has to do with you is that, as you participate in this program, and even as you look at the year in front of you, right, there's like a big, what would be referred to as Sisyphean task of getting your life together. This year you said you're going to get it together. This year you said this is it. You're no longer going to do X, Y, Z a thing. And, what you'll discover is that, you're back up to your old tricks again, right? You're behaving as if you are back in 2014, right? Or whatever year you're watching this, you're back in the year before. And, you're disappointed, you're disgusted, and you just don't want that lifestyle anymore, right? But here's what I'm here to tell you. Right, just like as Sisyphus had to deal with this boulder rolling back down once he got to the top of the hill, you're going to have to do the same thing, right? And the only difference is that you have a tool, you have a weapon that can assist you in being able to be patient in rolling that boulder up, right? Once you get up there, and once it rolls back down, you also have a community that's going to support you in being able to roll it back up. Now, the difference, though, is that as you're going through the motions here, right? As you're feeling defeated, as you're feeling that this time is not going to make a difference, we're here to inspire you with the thought, right? So here's a thought. As you're rolling your boulder up the hill, whatever it is, whatever area of life, whatever kingdom, maybe it's the financial kingdom, whether it's the relationship kingdom, as you're rolling the boulder up the hill, I want you to consider that you are getting stronger, right? And as a matter of fact, a philosopher sort of saw something in this situation with Sisyphus, and he said that by the name of Albert Camus, said the struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. And even if, of course, if you're a woman, it's enough to fill a woman's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. So, this struggle between, this year is going to be different, or this character change I want to make, I definitely want to make it now, and I will, and I shall, and I must, and oh my gosh, it's not happening fast enough. That struggle back and forth, if you're really willing to stick with it throughout this program, is going to give you the opportunity to become stronger. Just like you see this gentleman here, you don't push that boulder up and down the hill and remain weak, right? There's some strength that's going to be built up, okay? And so that's what I'm here to promise you. I'm promising you happiness, right, in the process of moving whatever boulders you've been trying to move all your life up until now. Whatever you've been dealing with, we're here to help. We're here to impact that. So I'm going to end the video here because I know that in a moment, what you need to watch is the blueprint in action. So I'm going to pause it here, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to come back and watch the 24-hour blueprint in action. So just take a moment. I'm going to pause this so you can grab a cup of water or whatever you need to do, and then we'll wrap this up by showing you a little bit of the blueprint in action. Okay, so first thing we need to do is an assessment. So I forgot to mention this, that inside of lifestyle design, we're not just talking about, scheduling an adventure. Okay, we're talking about looking at life from the perspective that if you're going to build something, whether it's a home, a roadway, whatever you're going to build, that you would need plans, right? You would need blueprints, you would need specifications, and in order, for that to, all work, you'd have to refer to it as you built, right? So we've created a set of worksheets currently, and in time we'll develop the technology to support it automatedly through apps and software. But specifically for now, what you'll need is a set of documents, worksheets, if you will, that will assist you in designing your life, right? So how do we do that? How do we go about that? So the first thing you'll need to do is begin to assess your life. And in order to assess your life, the first thing that needs to happen is you got to select the kingdom. So if you see up here, you can select any of the 5 kingdoms as I just described to you, right? And those kingdoms consist of faith, fellowship, finances, feelings, and fitness. Okay, so we're going to deal with fitness for today. And our guest this past week was a gentleman who's an artist as well as a bodybuilder, an amazing human being. Kofi Marfo, if you don't know him, get to know him. And so I asked him the question. I said, what does it take? What will it take for you to get your life in order in this area. So he said, well, I know that my primary activities are to eat well, to train daily, to increase my product knowledge, and to reach out to potential clients and enhance client relationships, right? And I said, okay, well, let's rate how you're doing in those areas. So he gave himself a 4 in this first one, 5 in the next 2, and so on and so forth, okay? And then when we looked at the rating, of course, what we saw was that he was a 3.8. That's what he scored. Okay, so in scoring a 3.8, I asked, okay, well, let's check this out emotionally for you. Where would you find yourself on the spectrum, right? And 3.8, of course, puts him just short of satisfied, right? And he agreed that was be accurate to describing his condition. So then I said, okay, great, no problem. Well, what do we need to do to change it, right? I said, he said, well, I definitely could increase my product knowledge, right? So I said, anywhere you're rating less than a 4, you should probably increase, right, to a 4. And he said, all right, well, let's increase your product knowledge. I said, well, in order for you to increase your product knowledge, you're going to have to schedule, right, take an action so that you got time. Because right now, obviously, since you're at a 2 at it, your life is not designed for you to accommodate that activity. So then what we did was we went to what's called the 3-week look ahead, okay? And this document here is a worksheet that allows you to schedule your life and watch the hours that you're scheduling, as well as this pie chart that gives you a visual indicator of how much time you have remaining, right? So all things sort of being filled in, if you assume that everything else in life is happening, he addressed that the issue, which was that he wasn't scheduling time for him to increase his product knowledge, which technically he could do between 11:30 and 12:30 on any given day, right? And I said, all right, well, how many times during the week do you want to do that? He said Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So essentially we copied this task and pasted it here and pasted it here, okay? So that he had 3 occasions to increase his product knowledge. Now, the next thing that we did was we then gave him an opportunity to schedule. Okay, so a schedule was created for him, right? And with that schedule, which is the one that you see here, we put in. Okay, give me a quick second here. All right, so we scheduled this occasion here, and then what we did was we, of course, simulated what we just did on the previous document, right? So that now he's got these 3 occasions that he's set up, okay? Whoops, save. Okay, so the difference though is that in our tool, in our worksheet, we set you up where you don't have to jam pack your schedule where you're overbooked, right? Because you're measuring the hours here, so that when you get over here and schedule your life is in flow, right? You don't have to worry about when the other shoe is going to drop, right? And you can do that in all kingdoms, right? All kingdoms of your life. So I then asked, well, if you do this, how would that improve your assessment, right? And he said, well, it would allow this assessment to go from 2 to 3, right? And I said, okay, so what happens if, so that means a week later, he could rate himself a 4 in that area, right? From 2 to 4 instead of 3. So if he rates himself a 4, he becomes a 4.2, which then puts him between satisfied and extremely satisfied. And I said, would that be helpful? Would that be worth it? And he was totally thrilled, right? So for you have an area of life or areas of life that you could do this exercise in, right? The first thing is get an assessment. Determine where you are on the satisfaction scale. And then take the action by scheduling an opportunity for it and making sure that your hours balance out, right? And once you do that, you can then go to your regular tool and do this for all areas of your life. And that's how you can create a balanced life, right? So with that said, I want to thank you for watching. Again, the Map of Consciousness is our foundation here. And happiness is the promise of the product, plain and simple. And this doesn't work if you don't share it. And so I invite you to share it, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you in upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the program.